Hi, I'm Lisa from sewnlife.com. Nice to see you. Welcome back. Hope you're going to enjoy this video. In this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make a blouse, specifically this blouse. So I will just get up and show you. There we go. This blouse is the Marnie blouse from Tilly and the Buttons. So that's the pattern that I've followed, and I'm going to show you the whole process. I have done a couple of things slightly differently, which is, if you see on this pattern here, the front here is all got gathers and it's all gathered up, but you can see mine is actually flat. So I decided not to do a gathered piece across there, and I've not added the ruffles, so you can choose which style to do, with or without the ruffles. So I didn't add the ruffles there, and I didn't add the collar. I did the round neck, plain round neck collar, as opposed to like a little ruffle there. And I made it into a top, not a dress. So you have the choice of making a dress or a top. So there's a few things that drew me to this pattern that I really like. So I really like the sleeve, this sort of voluminous sleeve. I think it's quite a flattering shape and a comfortable shape. I do like comfort. I really like this pin tuck detail. So you've got the pin tuck detail going all the way around the sleeve and then across the top of the chest there as well. And it was actually, it was quite easy to do. I like it in this plain fabric because I think that you can see the pin tuck quite clearly. Sometimes if you have a pattern fabric, you might not be able to see it quite as clearly. So I like the fact that you can see it clearly. I also like the fact that it's got like a cute little zip loop on the, sorry, not a zip loop, a button loop on the back, which I think looks quite sweet. And I just thought it looked very comfortable. Like I say, I didn't put the gathers in the front here. I just made this into a flat panel because I thought that that would be, on me, more flattering. Other people, I've seen other people with this style where they've copied the pattern completely and they've put the gathers in, and that's looked really nice on them. But I think I just felt for me that it wouldn't be, I didn't want as much fabric there as the pattern. So, and I thought that I've got so much fabric, if it goes wrong, I can just remake it with the pattern, with the gathers. The fabric that I used is 100% linen. It's actually made from a duvet set. My mum and dad got this duvet set. It's from Marks and Spencer, and they got it from a charity shop. So it's a double duvet with pillowcases, and it cost £15 from the charity shop. So I've made this blouse, and I'm going to make various other items as well from this. So there's loads and loads of fabric in there. Feels really lovely, this 100% linen. I know it creases, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. I like that look, and actually it saves me ironing, so I'm quite happy with that. So I'll show you the process, and hopefully you can follow along and make your own. I'll also point out a couple of mistakes that I've made so that you don't make the same mistakes. One of the mistakes that I made was there was a panel here and a panel here, and you actually attach these panels to this front piece. What I actually did was sewed them on the wrong way. So I had you can see there's like a bust shaping there. So I actually had my bust shaping on the back, which was not good. So I had to unpick it all and sew it back on. So don't make that mistake. The other thing that I slightly changed was I changed this shoulder. So this shoulder actually came out to about here. It was sort of quite slopey. I didn't like that. It just made me, I felt it made me look a lot wider on my shoulders than I wanted to. So I changed it and set the armhole in slightly closer in so that it just sat more on my sort of natural top of my shoulder. And I added some length as well in the sleeves and in the body itself, just because I'm quite tall and I've got very long arms and nothing is ever long enough for me. I just added length in there. But apart from that, I followed the pattern for everything. And hopefully my process will help you when you make it. It's a really nice blouse. I find it very comfortable to wear. There's no button, there's one button and you do button loops, there's no zips or anything like that. So it's actually quite a nice, easy make, and I'm really happy with it. And I think I'm actually going to make it in another couple of colours as well, particularly now that I've already done it in one fabric and I know what mistakes I've made, so I can make it again. Let me show you the process and hope you enjoy it. So I've printed off and sellotaped together all of the pieces so that everything is all together now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut out all of the pieces. I'm using a size 6, which is a UK size 16. I'll cut all of them out. I'm going to cut out everything, including the ruffles that I'm not using, so that next time when I come to use this pattern, if I want to make the ruffles, everything is there. All the pieces are cut out now, they're all ready. I've added a bit of extra length to the sleeve and also to the actual body. And this is the fabric. I've washed and ironed the quilt and the 2 pillowcases, and I'm now going to start cutting out the pattern pieces. First step is to stay stitch around the edges of the yoke, the front and the back yoke, and that is just to keep it in place. Right, I've got the front yoke here, and what I need to do now is create 4 of the pin tucks in between each set of little notches, and I need to make a fold. So I've pinned at the top as well on the right side of the fabric so that I know which is the right side, because it looks so similar back and front that I'm finding it hard to know. So I've just put that. So I'm going to go do a little fold there in that side, and then a fold there on that side, and then match that up. And then I need to do that for the others as well, so there'll be 4 folds. So now I need to sew each of these folds, which makes them into a little pin tuck. So I need to sew a line of stitching very, very close to the edge, 5mm or sort of 1/8 of an inch all the way across, and as carefully as I can. Now I'm going to create the pin tuck, so fold this in half, and I press down the middle, pin down there because those go down, and then this is going to be like undulating up and down. So the next one is 40mm away, which is like 1.5 inches there, and they go up. And then the next one goes down, and then that carries on all the way across both sides. For the size 6, it's got 7 rows of stitching, and what I've got to do now is stitch down there, so down that way and then up that way, down, up, so that it undulates. So this is what it looks like now. One down, undulating, so I'm going to pull all the threads together at the back and tie them off. So the top of the sleeve is going to have exactly the same process. That yoke had 7 tucks, this is going to have 11 tucks because obviously it's wider, but it'll be exactly the same process. Both of the sleeves have been done, they've both got the pin tuck effect on them now, so they look rather lovely. So next is the belt loop. It is folded in half and then in half again each side, and then folded again, and then that's going to be sewn right along the edge there. Then the 2 back yoke pieces, the outside edge is folded over once and twice, and then that's going to be sewn down there, and the same on that piece as well. That's just to edge the back yoke. The buttonhole loop gets folded in half and then attached on the back side of the yoke. The buttonhole loop is attached on the right side of the back yoke piece. Now the front yoke and the two back yokes are going to be attached here on the shoulder seam, there. To make the neck binding, fold it in half and then fold each of the sides in and then fold them together. Open out the binding and then with right sides together attach the binding to the neck. Leave a little overlap of about 1.5 centimetres at each end and then sew close to the edge all the way around the neck. Fold the other section of the binding over and then pin it all the way around. What I like to do is then turn it to the right side and then sew, but first of all it's best to move the pins from the wrong side over to the right side. It just makes it easier to see and you can make sure that you sew in a really nice straight line then. At each of the ends, just turn the fabric underneath so that it's a nice neat finish. So the binding's on, that's the front and the back and then the inside. So happy with that, on to the next stage. Attach the button onto the back yoke. The next stage is to add the front and the back body pieces to the yoke. Now this is where I've done something different to the main pattern, which is that instead of having this gathered, I'm just doing this as a flat piece, just because I don't think that gathers will suit me there. If you were following this pattern, you would gather this piece up and attach it here, but I'm just attaching a flat piece. I've also added in 15 centimetres extra on this pattern because I'm quite tall and I also want it to sit below my bum. And so I've added quite a lot of length in there. So the front and back panel pieces together at the shoulder. So now the two sides need to be attached, so lay it all out, right sides down, and attach both sides. So you've got left hand side and a right hand side. Now that the side panels are both added, it's time to sew up both sides and attach the front to the back. Right, so now to prepare the two bottom sleeve pieces. So on each of the pieces, what you need to do is do a couple of rows of like tacking stitch across the top. So I've done mine on the machine and turned my machine up to the longest length of stitch, which is a 4. So you might have 5 on yours, and do a couple of rows of stitching, or even 3, and then leave the ends at the long at the end, and then use these ends to gather it up, pull it up, and what it has to do is it has to be the same length, or the same width rather, as the sleeve portion, because this is going to be attached onto this now. Okay, so do that to both of the pieces. Now with the right sides together, attach the top of the sleeve to the bottom of the sleeve, so right across there. The top of the sleeve now needs to be gathered up, so do 2 lines of stitching. Again, change the length of the stitch on your sewing machine to your longest stitch and stitch between the 2 points there, and do that on both of them, and then that's going to be gathered up so that it can fit into the armhole. Fold both of the sleeves in half, right sides together, and then sew them together at the sides. So gather up the top part of the sleeve there, and then make sure that the sleeve fits inside the armhole, and then right sides together, place the sleeve into the sleeve hole, sew them both together. So to create the hem, you need a piece of elastic. So this one is 23 centimeters, which is 9 inches. So you need to create the channel for it to go in. So fold this over by about 1/2 centimeter, about 1/4 of an inch, and then by about another 1.5 centimeters, just over 1/2 inch. Just make sure that that channel is going to fit your elastic, and then just do a line of top stitching all the way around, leave a gap of about 6 centimeters, and leave it close by to this seam so that it's sort of underneath. So all the way around, leaving a gap of about 6 centimeters. When the channel's sewn, take the elastic, put a safety pin on the end, and then thread it all the way through till it comes out the other end. So when the elastic is all the way through, put one side on top of the other, and then sew that together there. Make sure that it doesn't twist around, and then you can just slot that back inside there and then sew up the rest of that channel, and then everything is enclosed and the cuff is finished. The very last stage now is to do the hem. So what I did was I added on 15 centimeters because I am taller and I wanted it to be a bit longer. But then actually when I tried it on, it just drowned me. It just looked like too much fabric. So I've actually taken about 7 centimeters back off the length. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn over, do a double hem and finish it off. Ta-da! Here we go, and the blouse is finished. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.